What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of On the Mic with Michael Flix. Very happy to be back. Got a very, very special guest in here, San Diego State alumni, current overseas pro. My guy, Skylar Spencer. How you doing today, fam?
I'm pretty good, man. Can't complain. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just a little tired from setting everything up in here, but I'm all good, man. We're going to have a great conversation, a great interview. I was about to say what you've been up to, but you just got married, right?
Yeah, I just got married.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Been about a week, so I'm getting back into the flow, getting back on the grind and everything.
I feel it. How was the ceremony? Everything ran smoothly and everything?
It was perfect, no problems, beautiful. Got to celebrate with all my friends and family, so real special moment.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I love going to weddings, man. Going to weddings is actually one of my favorite things to do. It's weird, bro. I like to get dressed up, and I like to go out and have a couple of drinks and dance. So that's part of the reason you get to do a lot of that at wedding receptions. But I just love seeing people get married, man. It's dope. It's dope. Yeah, I just love it, man. It's dope. It's dope.
I can't wait to go to somebody else's wedding. I'm tired of spending all the money, everything. I just want to be the one dancing.
I feel it. And I've noticed just from hearing a couple people say it and speaking to people, guys in particular don't really care for weddings, to attend a wedding until they get married. Yeah. And they get married and they see all that goes into it, how you feel going through it, and then they're weddings are dope. Exactly, weddings are dope.
I've only been to a handful of weddings, and so now I really understand everything that goes behind it.
Right.
It's a lot more than just a big old party.
Exactly.
I want to show up. Just pretend it's a party.
Exactly. Have you ever been a best man before?
I haven't. No.
I've never been a best man either. I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I had my best friend. I have two brothers. I had my best friend at the time be the best man in my wedding, and I've never been anybody's best man yet. Not yet, anyway.
I know for sure some of my friends, when they get married, I'll be their best man. So I'm already mentally preparing for that, but haven't had the chance to step up to the plate yet.
I feel like I think about the speech and everything. So that's a grind right there. Anyway, but let's get into Let's get into your entire basketball story. Now, you're from LA, correctly?
Yeah.
Correct.
From Inglewood. Yeah.
From Inglewood? You went to Inglewood High, or what high school did you go to?
I went to Price High School, small school, just right outside of Inglewood. Kind of mainly known for basketball, really. It's probably less than 100 people for sure there. So
in the whole student body?
In the whole, yeah. It's a K through 12 school. Probably total, it might be 100 total.
Wow.
My graduating class was only 12 people.
Wow.
So
was the team any good?
Team was good. Yeah, we either won state every year or competed for state.
Oh wow.
We had some pros, handful of pros actually, whole bunch of D1 players. So it's one of those small schools where if you come there, then we know you're there for basketball basically.
So you were pretty serious and pretty honed in on basketball pretty early then, right, to go to a school like that?
Yeah. Coming in as a freshman, I wasn't some big name player or nothing. Wasn't a lot of height. I was real tall, and I think my sister actually heard about the school, and then she kind of connected me with the coach, and we kind of talked it out, and then from there, it just blew up, and a lot of big names started coming. So it definitely started to become like the little mini mecca of basketball on that side of the town, I would say. Did
your sister play ball, or just your love for the game, and she just?
It was just me.
Oh, okay.
I've always played basketball my whole life. I've always been tall, so I've always been in the sport. And I think around time when I was trying to find a high school, it wasn't like a lot of kids now where everybody's drooling over them, trying to get them there. It was just, I'm a tall kid who's pretty good at basketball, and everybody sees that, and it just all happened to work out where she kind of guided me to a place where it could work out for me. I guess you could say it did.
That's dope. How much older is she than you?
Your
sister?
One of my sisters is 7 years older than me, and the other one might be 12, 15.
So you the baby?
Yeah, I'm the baby.
No brothers, just two sisters?
No brothers, two sisters, and I'm the baby.
How was that? Being a baby and being the only boy, how was that?
Just kind of, I almost felt like an only child, because
the age difference.
My oldest sister, I never lived with her, and then my other sister, I lived with her maybe until I want to say fourth grade. So just coming up for the important years of your life as a kid, I was basically by myself. So I just got used to it.
I hear you. My mom is actually the oldest of 7 girls, and so the age gap between I think her and the youngest 3. I remember hearing my aunt say to my mom, she was like, I've never lived in the same house as you.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that we sisters and we never lived together?
Yeah.
That's wild. But you got pretty much got the only child treatment then, right?
Basically, yeah. I wouldn't say I got spoiled, but I didn't have to worry about splitting anything with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to share space with anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
besides those early years with my sister when I was getting on her nerves, it was pretty smooth in the house.
Mm-hmm. And so how was it for you? Did you need to, like, not really being the only child, but being the only child in the house? Were you the type that, like, you needed friends over, or you had to go to somebody's house, or were you pretty cool just doing things on your own?
I mean, I guess because I was so active in basketball,
Mm-hmm.
I had, like, automatically.
I see.
I had
Teammates.
a lot of friends.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I had teammates that, they were just kind of in the basketball space, and then some of them who I became best friends with. So I was always running around with my friends. If it wasn't sports, then, we're going out somewhere. So I guess you could say I was pretty social. I wouldn't say it was something that, like, I needed. It would just kind of happen organically. It don't matter where I was at, what team I was at, you just automatically get a group of 10 dudes you could pick as your friend. And I picked 2-3 of them, and then some of them stick around. So just stack up on friends every year, basically.
That's dope. And so you say you always played basketball, always around people. Was it club and AAU early for you, or was it just kind of like rec ball and YMCA type of thing?
It was everything.
Okay.
I've been doing AAU, traveling all around since elementary.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was I don't know, because these days, like, when you say something serious, I feel like now it's like a whole different kind of point of view of it.
Mm-hmm.
Back then it was just like, I really like playing the game. I'm tall, and some people take it more serious than others. So I knew it was something that I wanted to do back then. I wasn't honed in 100%. I was just kind of a tall kid having fun, enjoying the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of what I did in my earlier years.
I hear you. You said in high school you guys were winning and competing for state championships every year.
Yeah.
So at what point, like, teams that are in that type of the hunt are in the hunt like that every year. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of the players are getting looked at because you're playing on, like, the biggest stage. So when did your recruitment kind of start picking up for you?
Probably, I would say, my sophomore year.
Okay, so pretty early.
Yeah, my freshman year I came in and we were a pretty good team. I was coming off the bench. I wasn't really getting a lot of hype. I wasn't even worried about that. I was just kind of playing my role.
Mm-hmm.
And my sophomore year, we were really good. Won state. We might have been top 10 in California. So a lot of buzz was getting around, and I was having a lot of good games, and I was playing against some great players. And I started, like, the letters started coming in, and I got my first offer, like, I think it might have been like a week after my sophomore season ended. And then a couple of days later, I got another one, and then it just started snowballing from there. So
Mm-hmm.
it just started picking up my sophomore year for sure.
What's the for someone who, like, you get the first one, I imagine it's like, oh, this is dope, a lot of excitement. How long does the excitement of getting Division I letters and offers last? When you're getting them all the time, when it gets to the point where you're getting so many, how long does the excitement last? Or how long did it last for you?
For me, I would say maybe a week or so, because the first one I got, it was kind of dramatic. It was from Gonzaga.
Nice.
And I got called out of class, actually. And I can't remember if I was talking to an actual coach or if it was my high school coach, but he called me out of class, and I talked on the phone with somebody, and they, like, wanted to offer me. So I was, like, super excited. I called one of my teammates to come out of class, and like, yo, man, I just got offered, blah, blah, blah. And he was a little bit older. He was already committed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was kind of like a big bro, little bro thing. And then a couple of days later, you get another one, and you're like, dang, this is cool. And then one more starts coming in, you're like, okay. And then you get one next week, and after a while, it's like, okay, well, I realized the blessing, but, that excitement just starts to die down, and you start just trying to think, well, where I'm going to end up going.
Mm-hmm. And how did that process go for you in deciding? Was it like, well, because when you got all these schools offering, your options are pretty open. So how did you kind of narrow down your choices and choose your visits and everything?
Well, I only took one official visit. It was to SDSU.
Really?
Yeah, I took unofficials to UCLA, USC, Cal. But I guess when it, like, came down to figuring out where I wanted to go, I came to San Diego in the summertime, leading into my senior year for unofficial, and just like on there, I didn't go to any parties or anything like that because everybody was gone for summer school. But I had that feel like, I think this is where I want to go. Mm-hmm. They kind of made me feel like I belong here, and they kind of I've always said this throughout the years. They just made me feel like it was a family. You know, it's hard to beat San Diego. To me, it's like a chill version of LA, perfect distance, and I just knew when I was going to come back from my official. I came here a few months later, and it was a wrap.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Billy has a very similar story. That's crazy. What's the for those that don't know, and for me, I think I have an idea about it. I'm sure I don't know like for sure. What's the difference between an unofficial and an official visit?
Let me see if I remember, because that's a good question. I think when it's an unofficial, you kind of go on your own. They don't pay for your travel. They don't pay for like your stay or anything like that, and they just kind of walk you through the basics. Sort of, I guess you could say that. When it's official, it's like an actual event. Like, like I mean, if you're going out of state, they fly you in, take care of everything. When I came here, they put me up in a hotel downtown, and they like show you all around campus, like all the details. Now you're talking to everybody. You might go to a football game. You hang out with the team, and it's just everything is centered around you for that weekend. And it might be you and somebody else on a visit with you. I think, when I took my official, it was me and somebody else. And yeah, it's almost like a whole show just for you for the weekend. So I guess the unofficial, it really feels official when you go. You can say that. I
got you. It sounds like the unofficial is you're a tourist,
basically.
But the official is like,
yeah,
it's showtime. This is for you. Okay.
When I took all my unofficials, they show you everything, but it's just kind of a walkthrough.
Got you.
Everything is just in a few hours. But when you're on official, you there Friday to Sunday. So it's real life. They will make sure you see every single part of the campus and everything that's important. Talk to all the right people.
Okay, that's dope. I kind of assumed that, but I'm pretty sure other people had that question as well. And so, what year did you graduate high school?
2012.
2012, and so you get to San Diego State, and how was it coming in, like starting college for you, and then now playing college basketball? What was that experience like?
It was crazy. Coming from a small school. Like, I came to high school, and my middle school was pretty small as well. To come into a giant campus like this, I wouldn't say it was a culture shock, but it was a lot. I feel like it was kind of like out of a movie. You got beautiful weather, beautiful women. You got cool parties. You got just a crazy basketball atmosphere. You playing on a national stage, sold out games every single night. So it was everything that you could dream of, basically, coming into college.
That's dope. Yeah. That's dope. What was who was some of your toughest matchups team wise, some of your toughest matchups in college, and what was your career high?
Our toughest matchup, probably Arizona. We played Arizona, I want to say 3 times at least, and we've lost every time. It's come down to my freshman year. It literally came down to a layup, a game-winning layup. Nick Johnson blocked it off the backboard. We played them my sophomore year, the year we were really good, and I think it was our second game of the season, our first or second game, and they just kind of ran away with it at the end. And then we played them again my sophomore year, in the Sweet 16. Lost to them there. We just couldn't control it. We actually played them a 4th time my junior year. We played them in Hawaii, and it was the same thing. We just lost it at the end. So
that's tough.
Yeah, every time we came across Arizona, it was like, I know we could beat them, but we just couldn't put together the pieces.
So how is it now to this point? You can't stand Arizona, or it's not really a big deal to you?
I got a little sour spot. For them.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, at least I didn't play in college. Just my high school sports. There's a couple of schools that my entire high school career I'd never beat them. And so I'm like, man, forget them schools, man. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'd be in some of these gyms filming. I'd be like, man, I hate this gym, man.
I wish everybody could come back and we could line it up.
Right. That'd be dope. Somebody should put that together. Now, you play all 4 years. At what point did you I'm sure the goal was always to be a professional.
Yeah.
At what point did it start to become realistic? And then how was the process of finding an agent and locking in with an agent?
Well, obviously everybody's goal is NBA. So for me, I knew I wasn't one and done. I was telling myself 2-3 years. That's what everybody kind of tells themselves. So I was like, I'll feel it out. After my sophomore year, we had like a really, really good year, top 5 all year long. And I started to break out of my shell a little bit. I didn't feel I was nowhere near for going to the draft, but now I was like, okay, well now the eyes are on me. And basically, my junior year, I was just gonna fill out how I played, and I was gonna see what happened. Long story short, I ended up not playing. I probably had like one of my worst years ever, my junior year. And so from there, I told myself I'm gonna give myself until the start of conference play for my senior year to see if I still have an NBA shot. Because at this point, nobody's talking about me. I'm not on any draft boards, but I've seen other guys break out their senior year. That was my motivation. I'm gonna break out and we're gonna see what happens. Long story short, again, I wasn't playing as well as I thought I could, and that's when I kind of shifted my focus to going overseas, which I never had a problem with. It was just kind of like the realistic expectation. And throughout the year, some agents would contact me, so that's when it started feeling real. When you're like, okay, well now, it's turning into a business a little bit, but I didn't want to break any rules. They didn't want to break any rules, so I never like went out with anybody. It would just they would contact me and say, hey, talk to me afterwards. And it was kind of, soon as season ended, my senior year, you kind of get right to it. Now I'm meeting with all kind of agents. I'm trying to figure out who I'm trying to sign with. I'm going out to dinner, talking to people on the phone. And at that time, I was trying to find somebody who was going to believe in me and, get me to where I needed to be. And I guess like maybe in May or so, I finally decided where I wanted to go, basically.
And where'd you end up going?
I ended up going with a smaller agency. I stuck with them for my first year. I'm not with them anymore.
Got you.
Yeah, but it was an interesting start. Just that whole process is stressful because you don't really know. Agents, even the good agents, the bad agents, the mediocre agents, everybody's telling you the same thing. I can get you a job. Of course, that's what they're supposed to say. So, at that age, even though you're technically an adult, you're 21, 22. If you don't really have any experience in that business and you don't have any of your peers who could really give you the best advice, like all of my bros, they're a little bit older playing, but they weren't real deep in their careers where they could give like experience advice. It was just kind of, I did this and this worked for me. So I could tell you something that works for me that won't work for you. Cause
right.
Everybody's different. So it was that kind of thing. It was just kind of a learning process for me. So I'm still learning today. So it was just one of those things. I appreciate that whole process for sure.
I hear you. And how long have you been a pro now?
I'm going on year 7.
Nice. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's dope. I love hearing everyone's different process because it's just so interesting to me how different it shakes out for everybody. But another reason why I'm so interested in it is because I had a friend of mine actually get scammed. Back when I was living in Escondido, he finished up school, and I used to be a trainer. I was actually helping him work out a little bit. And he showed me like the stuff that they sent him. And I've never, I didn't even play in college at all, so I don't know anything about that process, so I don't know. So he's showing me this stuff. I'm just high-fiving like, yo, that's dope. But I remember something stuck out to me when he told me that he had to pay them something.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to him, like, are you sure, bro? He was like, I was thinking, like, I don't know if it really works that way. And he ended, he paid and working out. Yeah, I'm supposed to be, I forget where, somewhere overseas. I forget where he's supposed to be going. But then, come to find out, he got scammed. And I'm like, dang, man, I wonder how often that happens.
All the time. Every day. Still happening now.
Dang.
There's everybody wants to play pro. So somebody hits you up like, yo, I have an opportunity for you, this and that. And like I said, if you don't know anything about it, if you don't, like, he came and showed you and you didn't know.
Right.
So you congratulated him and he's thinking, okay, I'm doing the right thing. So it's a lot of people that just naive and it's not their fault. They just don't have the experience. So unfortunately, there's a part of the business where agents will take advantage of you and they just know that you're thirsty for opportunity. So they say, hey, you come here, you just got to pay this little money, you got to pay for your flight. Then you might fly there and then you're not responding to no text. And now he got your money and there's no way you're going to find him. and that's
Man.
just that's just how it goes sometimes.
Have you heard that happen a lot?
I've heard some stories.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure one of those kind of agents have hit me up before.
Mm-hmm.
I make sure anybody that I've done business with, I do due diligence on, and I'm just not going to blindly go somewhere or pay some money at that. So, fortunately, it hasn't happened to me, but it's an everyday thing.
Mm-hmm. Man, crazy. God bless to everybody. Goodness gracious, I could not imagine. Sheesh. So you graduate, secure an agent. Where was the first pro team that you signed with?
I went to Malaysia.
Nice.
But actually, I was supposed to play in the G League.
Mm-hmm.
When I was supposed to go to Maine and play for the Red Claws. That's the Celtics G League team. I worked out with them for the week, and I kind of verbally committed, and then they actually. The team in Malaysia, they contacted my agent actually when I was out there in Maine, and it was on a Friday, it was on a Thursday I think, and I was on my way to the airport, and they were like, "Okay, we want you to come here, but the catch is you got to leave tomorrow."
Hold on, you were on the airport to go to Maine?
No, I had just finished up camp in Maine.
Okay, so you're coming home.
Yeah, I was coming. I was leaving the hotel in Maine, and I was on my way home, and I was about to go home. And I'm talking to my agent at the same time while I'm on the way to the airport, and they're like, "Yeah, they want you to come, but they want you to catch a flight tomorrow." So I basically had from the time I left the hotel to the time I got on the flight to figure out if I want to go there.
Wow.
And I ended up turning it down because I just felt like that's too quick of a turnaround for me, and it wasn't enough money to just drop my things and leave. I wasn't ready for that, but so I went home. Committed to the G League team. Texted coach, said I'm coming there, but I didn't sign anything yet. And during that week, my agent was still communicating with the team in Malaysia, and they started renegotiating prices. And I was working out. Maybe not even a week later, like Wednesday or Thursday night. I was working out in the afternoon. My agent texted me, was like, "Hey, they upped the price to this," and I was like, "Let's go." But it was like the same thing. They're like, "You got to leave tomorrow though," but at least. To me, it was still crazy, but at least I got like a week. I got a week to be home and kind of feel a little bit comfortable. So had to end the workout. I packed up my bags and I was out next day.
Right.
Just like that.
Dang, that's crazy. I mean, it sound like everything worked out better because, I mean, they got you a better number, a number that you were comfortable with that made sense for you. So it sounds like, everything worked out for the best. That's crazy, though. Yeah. That's crazy. I wouldn't have, honestly, because, I mean, I speak to that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this show because I just talk so much. I talk to everybody that I meet. But the pros, the professional basketball players that I've met and spoken to, this is the conversation that I typically never had. I usually ask about your numbers and how long you've been playing there, where you think you're going next, or what college you went to. I talk to everybody, but we never really spoke about that part of it, and that's people's personal business. You know what I'm saying? It's just another reason why I don't get into it. But I mean, anyway, it's very interesting, very very interesting.
It's kind of. I mean, I wouldn't share that with you unless you really ask.
Right.
It's not a thing you say. You ask me how I'm doing. I just say I'm doing good.
Right.
I went to go play in Malaysia. Oh, congrats.
I hear you.
That's the end of the convo. So.
I hear that. It's personal. I feel it. How long was that first season in Malaysia?
It was about 5-6 months. So it wasn't that bad. The seasons in Asia are typically pretty short. So I got there like middle September. And I was home by I think like April.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Were you the only American player on your team?
No, I had two other ones on the team. One got cut. They got replaced with another one. So I think by the time we got to the end, I was the only one standing from the beginning. So I always had at least two with me, but they had just got rotated a couple times.
Man, that's tough. How was it? I'm assuming just because you're all Americans, you speak the same language and everything, you probably gravitate to each other, or no?
Sort of, yeah. When I very first got out there, to me, I felt like we're supposed to have an automatic bond. We out here on the same thing. I understand what you come from, so that kind of makes us brothers. And then I learned quickly that that's not always the case. Some guys, they just a little different. Some guys really want to stay to themselves, do their own thing. So you naturally gravitate to them, and then you feel them out
I hear
after some time, okay, he cool, so I can hang out with him
Mm-hmm.
outside of the hoops. But for some guys, they just chilling and we just become colleagues. We come in here working, doing a job. So I think it kind of varies.
I hear it. So how was it? Did you spend a lot of time by yourself that first year out there? Did you find some teammates to kick it with?
I found some really cool teammates out there.
Nice.
They were some of my favorite teammates. We spent a lot of time with each other. We used to always go out to eat together. Always turn up, party. So I wasn't really lonely in my first year.
That's dope.
I had some really good teammates.
Did you your second year, because you've been 7 years now? Your second year, did you go back to Malaysia, or where'd you go after that?
My second year, I actually went to the G League.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even want to go the very first time. It was
How come?
Because it's just too much politics for me, and it wasn't that I didn't believe in myself. It was just I didn't want to waste time chasing like a fairy tale story. Because anytime a guy makes it out of G League, like from nothing, like no big name, no big school or nothing, it's like you going against the odds. So I didn't want to go against those odds and lose money, like trying to chase that
and
dream.
time on your career.
Lose money, lose time. So I was never about taking that kind of gamble. And at the time, my wife was pregnant, and I needed to make money. So I went like 8 months like without a job because I didn't want to do G League. I switched agents late also, so that played a part in it. And when it was crunch time, like when everybody's leaving, I'm waiting to sign to my new agent, so that slows up the process for me. So I ended up going to Fort Wayne and playing for the Pacers G League team in like the middle towards the end of November, and I stuck it out there for the rest of the season, except for like the last month of the season. I went to play for the Clippers G League team.
How was that experience in the G League? Did you enjoy it at least?
I hated it.
Yeah?
I hated it.
Man, everybody has that story. It sounds like if you don't get caught up, you don't enjoy your time.
Yeah, I seen you talk about it before. For me, it was a very, very negative experience. I didn't come in and think, okay, I'm going to get caught up. Like, that wasn't my mindset. My mindset was, I'm going to come in, I'm going to play hard, I'm going to get some tape, and I'm going to try again to go overseas next year. And the team that I was on in Fort Wayne, when I was under the impression that they like really wanted me because I made my name available, and like a day or two later they picked me up, and then I'm gone that next week. So it all happened so fast. I'm looking at the roster. I'm like the only true big man on there. There's one other big man, but he was like a young guy that was he had got drafted, so he was coming up and down. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. I'm gonna come in. I know I'm gonna start. I'm coming big. You guys need me. And I just ended up right in the bench. Like they played small ball. This was like when small ball was starting to really come about. So they were starting guys that were like 6'7", 6'8",
man,
and just playing the whole season. So I'm right in the bench, like the bottom of the bench. Like I'm one of the guys that come early to the gym, and like the coaches have us play 3-on-3 super hard, and so because they know that we're not going to play. So
I see.
I was one of those guys, and that was the first time I really dealt with that. So that it was a really rough year for me, and I was trying to get traded after about a month and a half in when I realized like this isn't for me, but they couldn't find a trade for me, and that was another new thing for me, like being somewhere that you made it clear you don't want to be, but you have to stick it out. Like that's the business part, and I finally got a trade to go to the Clippers, and I think they were like out of playoff contention, but we still had like three good weeks of games left, and I went there and I almost averaged a double. I think I might average like 9 or 8 or something like that. So it was negative in the beginning, but at least at the end it was kind of a little light at the end of the tunnel that showed me that maybe if I played somewhere with more opportunity throughout the year, things could have turned out differently. So I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't personally join, but I think it's like my case is an example of just opportunity, basically. I
hear you. When you're riding the bench for the first time in your life, does it do anything to your confidence or to your ego, or do you understand the situation that they're playing small ball? That's why I'm not playing, or did it like affect you mentally at all?
In the beginning, it really hurt me because I've always been either a starter on the team or an important part of the team. I've never really cared about being the star or that guy, but I've always been an intricate part of whatever was going on the team. So to be somewhere where I'm basically nothing, I'm just a practice guy, it did hurt my ego a lot. It did make me feel like I wasn't special, because I didn't even think that I thought I was special until I got there and I realized, like, damn, like everywhere I've been somewhere in the rotation, and now it's completely taken out. Like, I guess y'all don't really need me. So it did hurt, and then after a while, I just started to shift my mindset a little bit, and I would just like compete super hard in practice, and I was playing well in practice all the time. All we used to do was play, and I would hang in there. I don't know, I wouldn't say I was just killing everybody, but you could watch practice, and if you weren't part of the organization, you'd be like, how come that guy's not playing? Mm-hmm. So I just started to understand, this is the coach's decision. It's whatever they want to do, they want to do. But I just know that it doesn't have a lot to do with me and what I'm doing wrong. It's just the choices that other people make, and they're just out of my control, basically.
And you said you kept, excuse me, you said you were always playing hard and practicing hard. So it sounds like it didn't like affect your attitude at all. It didn't make you like sour to your teammates or to the coaches or anything.
No, I mean, those were a great group of guys. Some of them I still talk to this day.
Nice.
So I never took it out on them. As far as the coaches, I was never happy with the coach, but he was a cool guy off the court. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things where I'll twist my face on you on the court, like I don't see why you're doing this. But I didn't like have any resentment for him, because
I hear you.
He was so cool off the court, and
mm-hmm.
I'm not that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. I feel it.
Yeah, I just
kept it professional.
Yeah, I just kept it professional, kept it to myself, and I used to just tell myself all the time, make the coach look bad, like do my job, do anything that I can do, mm-hmm. so when everybody else who's looking in, everybody can ask the coach, like, how come you're not playing him? Mm-hmm. Just work, because I've had like the assistant coaches pull me to the side of games, like, yo, like, just keep doing you. Your time's coming. This and that. And my time never really came, mm-hmm. but I didn't take it out on anybody. I was like, I'm gonna just keep doing me, and then whatever happens, happens.
I hear you. So where was your third year then? You leave the G League. I'm sure you ran out of the G League as fast as you could. Where'd you play your third year?
After that, I went to Romania.
Okay.
So that was my first year in Europe, mm-hmm. and then that was a super interesting year.
How so? What was interesting about it?
Pretty much like any horror story that you've heard about, like players playing overseas, I dealt with, like money being late, going there and spending 2 weeks without Wi-Fi in my apartment. Had to like stand on the corner and like steal Wi-Fi from some corner store.
Dang.
I actually had left the team to go somewhere else, and I went there. I left the team and went to Turkey, but like when you leave to go to another team, your old team has to like sign some papers to clear you, and they never cleared me. So after like a week being in Turkey, they were like, we wanted you to play immediately, but the other team's not clearing you right now, so we had to cut your contract. And I actually had to go back to Romania
and rejoin that team.
Yeah.
How awkward was that?
It wasn't that awkward, because a lot of those guys were like super goofy and cool.
I hear it.
So everybody's all like jokey about it.
Mm-hmm.
I told them I'm coming back, and I was like, yo, I don't want to hear no jokes about it. Of course they got it off. So I guess, I mean, it was one of the things where I was just kind of like mad at everybody on the inside, but I had to come back and play. It's either that or just sit out, and I couldn't afford to sit out, couldn't afford to not get paid. Mm-hmm. I was still trying to come up with my career, so I just made it work. But yeah, it was a crazy year. Like, I have so many crazy stories. We sit here for hours talking about it.
That's wild. That's one of the crazier. No, I don't want to say like. Yeah, that's one of the crazier stories I've heard of you like leaving and having to rejoin with the team that you just told them you don't want to play here no more. That's
it was.
Like you said, that's the business part. Sheesh. Have you heard of anyone else having that same experience? Like they leave and have to come back to the team they left?
Maybe not that. I'm sure it's happened before though.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened before. I've heard a lot of other horror stories about them just leaving and not being clear. So luckily though, like they like really wanted me. So So you know, when I came back, they were just, you know, they're like, we gonna sweep this under the rug. It is what it is. And
Mm-hmm.
we gonna move on.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, I need you, you need me type of situation, and
Mm-hmm.
we just gonna get through it for the year or so.
Mm-hmm. I hear it. I hear it. How do you? Nah, that's not. Your first 3 years really, really crazy, really like all over the place. When did things kind of like settle out and smooth out for you, or have they?
Well, if you start going across the timeline, that following year, that's 2020. So that's when COVID
Oh
hit.
goodness gracious!
So it's
Can't catch a break.
Yeah. So
Man.
yeah. So actually, it's crazy because after that, I went to my fourth year. I went to Lithuania,
Mm-hmm.
and that was supposed to be like my come up season. That ended up getting a little shaky. So I'm still dealing with, you know, all the nonsense. And then I go to Finland. I go to Finland in the beginning of January, and I'm on like the top team up there. We're winning. I think we played 15 games and only lost one, and it was my second game there we lost, and after that we ran through it. So things are finally starting to turn around for me. We're winning. I'm killing. Everything's great, and then boom, COVID hit. So it was like shaky, and then things were just perfect. I can't believe everything's finally going great for me, and then COVID happened. So just kind of don't stop.
So what was it? I'm really sorry to hear that, bro. How was it for you with when COVID hit? Because I'm obviously like basketball's done, the season's done. I've heard stories of some guys that like ended up getting stuck across the water for much longer than they wanted for whatever reason. How did that happen to you at all?
No, where I was at in Finland, it was like a super small town, and there wasn't any hysteria, anything. It wasn't even. It's like a town where there's no way you're just passing through there. If you're coming here, it's for a reason. So when they told us about when they told us about COVID and everything, and they canceled the season, I was just like, I had my wife and my son out there, and we were like, we're just gonna chill here for 2 weeks. Like, we were real cool with the community. We loved it there. We were like, we're gonna let this die down in 2 weeks, which is like super laughable now.
Right.
And one of my teammates' girlfriends was actually out there, like, as it got shut down, and she was supposed to fly home, and they kept canceling her flights. And then then we heard from her, and she kind of told us like, yeah, like I can't get out, and our coaches started talking to me, and he was like, yeah, you guys probably need to leave like in a few days actually, because they're canceling flights and they're probably gonna shut down the border soon. So we went from just like chilling to saying we're gonna go in a couple weeks to maybe having like 2 days to pack up the whole house, and this is like mid-season, so you know you got stuff all over the place,
right.
nowhere near ready to leave. So it was a quick turnaround, and they actually did cancel one of our flights. We were supposed to like fly into London and then straight home, but we ended up having to take another little detour route. So we got out of there just in time. Luckily, it was a good staff over there with people who cared about us and really tried to get us out of there. But I did have some friends, like I had some friends in Italy who were stuck over there for real, and they were an extra month and a half just doing nothing.
That's tough. And you say you had your wife and how old was your baby at the time?
He might have been like turning 2.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that is tough.
Oh man, traveling in the airport with the baby, when you don't know what's going on, they're telling you it's all in the air. I got gloves on, I got a mask, I can't breathe. I'm carrying bags. I'm not trying to miss my flight. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I bet.
Yeah.
It sounds extremely hectic. I can't even. Goodness, man. So what was it? How did you spend all that quarantine, all that pandemic time? Like, what did you do with all that time?
Just a bunch of house workouts, and that's not my favorite, but I felt like I had to do something, obviously, because I had no choice. At first you kind of like trying to wait it out, trying to see what's happening, and then after a while you're like, man, like this ain't going away. Like I feel like the quarantines, they just kept pushing it back 2 weeks, two more weeks.
Yep.
And you're just like, man, I'm stuck in the house. So I spent most of the time just in the house, and then I finally found like a little secret gym out here that some guys were going to.
Nice.
And so I was able to get back in my routine a little bit.
It's so crazy, man. When any memories or any like time from the past that I think about, that whole quarantine time makes a lot of stuff so fuzzy, because you think about like you for me, like stuff that you feel like was like 2 years ago was really like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when
Yeah.
you really think, because it feels like it was like, nah, for 2 years everybody was just sitting down. You didn't really see nobody go nowhere.
That's how I feel too. Because like I was rising, like I said, I was rising up, and everything was about to pop, and then boom, I just felt like everything turned to dust. So like that whole summer, it was blurry for me. It was rough. It was rough mentally for sure.
So did you during all that time? Did you stay with your agent? You stay in communication with your agent? Did you drop him? Like how did all that work out?
I stayed with my agent. He was basically telling me, we just have to wait it out, see what happens, because everybody wants to play for sure. All the teams, every teams want to have everybody over and everything. It was just a matter of waiting out and see what happened. And we knew the start of the season was going to get pushed back. It was just a matter of depends where you go and this or that. And I ended up going to Belgium. I think I don't remember when I signed. I might have signed sometime in August, but it was just a matter of getting over there. I had to get a visa, and normally what you do, you fly there, and then they work in the first month or so to get you a visa there, because you can fly anywhere for 90 days or something. But now with COVID, you have to get the visa beforehand, and that's not a smooth process. So I'm sending my passport places. I'm paying money out of pocket for all of these overnight shipments and all this crazy stuff. So I'm running through all this bread just trying to get out there. So I think I spent a month just trying to make sure I had everything all together. And I finally got out there, I think in the middle of September.
That's crazy. How did that year go?
It was a great year. It was a great year, actually.
And this is year 5?
This year 5, yeah. It was a great year. I didn't catch COVID.
Nice.
Season didn't get canceled. We probably maybe had 1 or 2 games affected from COVID. Things were on lockdown, but it wasn't super lockdown like other places. So I mean, in terms of that first year dealing with COVID and everything and playing, it was pretty smooth compared to other people's situation. And the basketball for me went great. It was one of the best years I had in my career. So
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, I knew I could hoop like that, but I think just dealing with the year before that and everything I dealt, I just knew I had to turn it up a little bit more, so everything worked out fine for me.
That's what's up. I love hearing that part, man.
Yeah.
That's dope. And you said you were in Belgium?
Yeah.
How was it living in Belgium?
It was beautiful.
I bet.
Beautiful. I was in Mons, Belgium. That's like an hour and a half from Brussels. It's a little. It's still a pretty big town, but it's a little smaller than Brussels. But the people were nice, food super good. It was just the only thing that sucked. We just couldn't really experience it how it was pre-COVID. So a lot of things started to open up, kind of in our last couple months there. Everybody started coming out to the downtown area. So real nice city, and I feel like I enjoyed the most of it as I could with it being COVID, but it would have been real cool to experience it when everything else was normal.
Hey, you haven't gone back to Belgium since everything's kind of opened up?
No.
Oh, okay, you gotta get back out there, man.
I
guess they gotta give you the right money to get you back out there.
I'm talking. Yeah.
I already know. I'm already knowing.
Yep.
So where was it? Where was it after Belgium?
After Belgium.
Before we get to that, how I'm sure it's different for all pros that play overseas, but how eager are you guys when you come back home to just decompress and get to the States and just not really touch a basketball? Or are you eager to get back here and hoop with your homies and your old teammates and all? What is that off season time like?
For me, I like to just, it depends on the year I have, but normally towards the end of the year when it gets to May, June, I'm super tired. I'm super tired mentally, and I'm just kind of over basketball for that moment, and I just need to step away. So I like to take 2 weeks of just nothing. Don't touch the ball, don't run, don't sweat, don't do anything, and it just kind of gives me some time to just mentally reset, kind of wash away anything from the past season, and just kind of put it behind me, hold on to the good stuff, let go of the bad, and just kind of rearrange my mind and focus on just getting better for the summer, basically.
Do you have any like certain like mental like exercise or anything that you do in particular, or you just need that kind of time to just not think about the game?
Yeah, just not think about the game. I spend time during the season meditating. I don't do it as much during the off season. I probably should, but just like completely stepping away from the game. Even though I love it so much, sometimes you need to be without to just realize how much you love it and miss it. Because after those 2 weeks, I'm itching to get back on the court, and then it starts all over again. So. It's a process that works for me. I know that's how the people do it. Some take a little less time. Some people take a lot more time. So I found like that's been the perfect number for me.
I hear it. I've never really wondered that about athletes, because it's something that like you've been doing for so long and that you love with all your heart. But I think about like for me and being a photographer, it's not something I've done my entire life, but it's my job. Well, it didn't start off as my job. It started off as a hobby and a passion, and I fell in love with it and got kind of good at it and was like, oh, let's see what I can do with this. And it became my job. When before, like when I was working in childcare, going and picking up a camera and going outside, taking pictures and filming something was how I decompressed. It was how I took my mind off of things. But now I have a camera in my hand every day, and so it's not really a space for me to let go. It's work, you know what I'm saying? It's work all the time, and so now I don't really. It's always fun. It's always fun, but it's not.
It's not like that. Like innocent fun.
Exactly, and don't misunderstand me. I absolutely love my job. I love what I do. I have fun every time I'm doing it. But it's different when. Like when you got to lock, it's probably the difference between playing pickup and playing in the playoffs maybe, or like playing professionally. You know what I'm saying? It's like pickup is like, you chose it when it's your profession too, but it's like I came out here just to have fun, just to release, to yell a little bit, scream a little bit, have fun with my boys. And that was what it was for me in the beginning with the camera stuff. And now it's like, it's different now. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different kind of, you got to be super focused. My eyes get strained, my elbows and shoulders start hurting. You know what I mean? And so it's just not. When I'm always doing it, that's not the first thing I'm looking to do to release. You know what I'm saying? And so I've kind of found myself trying to find new hobbies and trying to find different ways to release and like take my mind off the things that bring me stress.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I feel like the exact same way. Like before I was getting paid, it's fun. Everybody's trying to make it to the least. Everybody has those dreams, but everybody's like just broke college kids having fun, and you just playing the game because you love it. But then you start getting introduced to the business, and you start seeing the good side and the bad side. Like I said, I went to Europe and I found out really quick. Well, even in the G League, I found out really quick in my second year about like the business part of it. So. Then it becomes work, but you still try to hold on to that innocent joy that you had. You still try to have fun, and then especially when you end up being pretty good at it, you're like, man, I'm having fun and I'm good at this, so I'm gonna keep doing this. But then when you just got to do it all the time, and it's how you pay the bills. So it's not like you just I'm gonna just go outside and take some pictures. Like, no, I need to go find the right picture because I need to get paid for this. Because I got to pay my bills.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing for me. I enjoy playing the game. I still love the game. I love to compete. But there's a whole business aspect about it that I've started to grow into, and it turned me a little bit into a businessman. So it's like, yeah, I'm having fun with this. I want to come compete, play for you, but on the business side, we have to be on the same terms as well. So it has to work for me all around. I just can't come play for you because I want to have fun, play basketball.
I hear that. I definitely hear that. Yeah. Now, speaking of being a businessman, have you? And I'm not saying your career is ending anytime soon. I'm not implying that at all. But have you yet started to think about like some of the things that you're going to go into when you're done playing basketball?
Sort of. I've as of late, I've kind of been thinking about coaching, and growing up, I never wanted to do coaching. People ask me in college, even my first few years pro, I just say no. I'm not about to do coaching. I don't got the patience or anything like that. And I also felt like it's kind of the cliche thing to fall into. But then at the same time, the older I got, and the more I realized I was pretty good at like teaching the game and speaking the language of basketball, I was thinking, this may be something I could take serious. And I understand, it might be cliche, but I understand why a lot of ex-hoopers can fall into that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can get to stay around the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though you can't physically go out there, it's a way to stay connected, and you know, you can still have a pretty successful career in that. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about that.
You be thinking like more coaching or training?
More coaching.
Okay.
More coaching. Yeah, training. I feel like I would be a good trainer, but I feel like the trainer grind is just tough, especially right now. You know, the coaching grind is tough.
Mm-hmm.
I know some details about the coaching grind is tough, but like training is kind of like a free for all right now. And I feel like, you know, if I don't know when my career ends, but I feel like if I start tomorrow, I'm still 5-6 years behind all these guys.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
you know, I don't mind starting from the bottom at anything, but that's just kind of an individual grind that I don't think I want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. And then I also know of a few people that I've mentioned, like, man, you should go into training, and they'll tell me like, man, I've thought about it, but just like the way everyone's a trainer now and the way everyone's going about it, is like, a lot of people have told me I just don't want to be grouped in with them people. Yeah. So maybe kind of like when this little trainer fad kind of dies down and people realize that it ain't for them, maybe I'll go into it. But I've heard a lot of people say that though. Yeah. A lot of people say that. Where did you just play year 6, and where are you heading to for year 7?
I played in Kazakhstan this past season. I know you're thinking, where the hell Kazakhstan?
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
It's basically in between Russia and China. So everybody out there speaks Russian, but they kind of got a little Asian look to them, but with a little bit more color.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, you've heard Kazakhstan from Borat, but it's not anything like that. It's a beautiful city. It was basically in the Russian league, the VTB. It's like one of the top leagues in the world. So that was a cool experience to be able to play out there. And you know, I spent a lot of time in Russia, just bouncing around. So it was an interesting year for me. Obviously, we got affected from the war. That kind of affected my travel because I just said I'm not traveling to Russia anymore. So I had to deal with that. There was a big protest out in Kazakhstan for like the first time in like 30 years that like affected some of my games. So I dealt with like a lot of political stuff this year. So I felt this year was it was good, but at the same time it was kind of rocky because there was just a lot of outside things out of my control that I had to deal with. And always COVID in that mix as well.
I hear it. Yeah, everywhere you go, something happens.
Yeah. I know, that's the thing. That's what I feel like. I feel like I got bad luck because everywhere I go, it's like it'll be something happening that year, and they'll be like, man, this never happened. Every single year, even down to my rookie year in Malaysia, they like normally have like 4 or 5 Americans, and we only had like 2 or 3 because I think like the international games were coming up, and they wanted the local guys to get more minutes. So and then it was just like I just happened to be there on that year. We just ended up not being that good because we didn't have the help. And every single year I go somewhere, they'd be like, "Man, like this is the first time this happened in forever." So I just got that kind of luck, I guess.
You helping every country you go to make history, man. So where you headed to next? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
where you headed to next?
I'm not sure. I mean, by the time this come out, y'all might know. It's kind of a day-to-day thing right now, so we'll figure it out very soon.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I won't press. You know what I'm saying? I'll leave it alone. But that's dope, man. Like I said, I've been I for sure remember. I don't think I ever went to any state games while you were playing. I definitely watched a lot of them on TV, so I got to know, not got to know you, but got to know your game, if nothing else, by watching TV. And then you know, when the switch started, I got to see you up close, got to meet you, got to, you know what I'm saying, get cool with you. So you're definitely somebody that I was looking forward to having on the show for sure, man. So thank you for coming in, bro. I appreciate it.
Man, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's been another episode of On the Mic with Michael Flix. I appreciate y'all tapping in, man. Until next time, take care.